All my life I have had a reputation for being cold, unfeeling. Some have called me heartless, ruthless, even cruel. I am not. I am not beyond emotional response or compassion. But I possess, and my masters count this as perhaps my paramount virtue, a singular force of will. Throughout my career, it has served me well to draw on this facility and steel myself, unflinching, at all that this wretched galaxy can throw at me. To feel pain or fear or grief is to allow myself a luxury I cannot afford.
Gregor Eisenhorn is an Inquisitor of the Ordo Xenos. His service to the God Emperor has placed him against many foes. He is a bastion of light in the ever-fading dark. He has stood against tides of heretics, faced down powerful demons, gazed upon the raw power of the warp itself. Through all of that, his will to smite the enemies of mankind has never faltered. He began his career as an interrogator under the watchful gaze of Inquisitor Hapshan. He learned the ways of the Inquisition alongside a fellow interrogator, Titus Endor. Eisenhorn and Endor became great friends throughout their studies under Hapshan. Their friendship remained close, even after both were elevated to the rank of Inquisitor. To understand the true tale of Eisenhorn, we must first start with the case that gained him renown and hatred with his peers, the Necrochuk affair. After pursuing and killing a known heretic by the name of Iclone, Eisenhorn continued his investigation that had led him to the planet of Gudrun. He was joined by two new companions who he had picked up on his quest bringing the Emperor's justice to Iclone, Godwin Fishik of the Adeptus Arbites and Elizabeth Beckwin, who was a blank, or formerly known through the Imperium as an untouchable. In the tale of Eisenhorn, Elizabeth Beckwin would grow as one of Eisenhorn's closest companions. Eisenhorn and Elizabeth would grow to fall in love with each other, but fate can be a cruel being. Eisenhorn being a psyker and Elizabeth being a blank meant that their true passion for each other could never truly be fulfilled. Upon landing on the world of Gudrun, he and his new inquisitorial Retuin followed the investigation and were entangled with a heretical cabal. The cabal was led by a well-known and respected family known as House Glor. Eisenhorn personally led the mission into the den of the heretics, where he was for a time captured and tortured by one of its members, Gorgon Locke. Eisenhorn never broke, but the first part of him would be lost. Gorgon Locke made sure that Eisenhorn would never smile again. Eisenhorn was lucky that he was not the only Inquisitor on the planet investigating the heretical actions of House Glor. Inquisitor Volk led a full inquisitorial purge on the residents of House Glor. In the ensuing battle, Eisenhorn escaped. Even though some of the heretics did manage to escape their fate on the planet of Gudrun, Eisenhorn was able to recover a device that was most important to them, the Pontius. The Pontius was a device that within it held the encoded brain engrams of a long-perished heretic known as Pontius Glor. The scheme of the Cabal was to bring Pontius Glor back from the dead and resurrect him within a new body and enact their dreaded plans. The Pontius was a sentient device and was able to communicate. It was tainted by the powers of chaos. Eisenhorn held the Pontius as a prisoner and interrogated the long-dead Pontius Glor, seeking to find the plans of the heretic. After threatening Glor with a true death by destroying the device, Eisenhorn was able to seek information that would lead him to the next part of his investigation. Maybe it was Eisenhorn's quest for more knowledge. Perhaps it was something different, but Eisenhorn did not destroy the device as any true Puritan would have. Instead, it was entrusted to a friend of Eisenhorn's, Magus Burr. This decision would come back to haunt Eisenhorn and bring destruction to those who he held dear. As Eisenhorn followed more leads, he was able to track down those heretics who had escaped judgment on the planet of Gudrun. This would lead him to the cursed Necrochuk. The Necrochuk was a tome of chaos knowledge. A Xenos race known as the Suffri had somehow came into possession of the Necrochuk, and with their technology they had managed to translate the tome. He had learnt that the Cabal and the Xenos race were going to trade the Necrochuk. Eisenhorn could not let this happen. The Necrochuk in the hands of the Cabal could bring down Imperial systems with ease. He could not achieve the task of destroying the heretics on his own. He requested aid with his inquisitorial authority. To him gathered a mass force of guard, inquisitors, and adeptus Astartes to assault the planet and destroy the heretics and the Necrotuke. As Eisenhorn landed upon the planet, the full force of the enemy countered them. The planet was not only inhabited by heretics and Xenos, but also traitor Astartes. The fighting was close and brutal, but Eisenhorn was able to break through and find the Necrotuke and destroy the accursed tome. The enemy forces on the planet broke. The Xenos vanished through their heretical means of planetary transportation. The planet itself began to die. Eisenhorn and those who still remained alive with him managed to escape the planet before it enveloped and destroyed itself. With the enemy broken and dead, and the cursed Necrotuke destroyed, the story should have ended here, but the life of an Inquisitor is not a simple one, and for Eisenhorn, the story has only just begun.